Hey everybody, this is Zach from PEEQ, and today I have the opportunity to talk with Joe Martin. Joe Martin is the operations manager for RocketDrop, and RocketDrop is PEEQ's biggest customer. So Joe, thanks for sitting down with me.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks for having me.
You got it.
Yeah, let's get into it. But
yeah,
RocketDrop, tell a little about what we do. We've done billions of dollars in revenue, and we're shipping all kinds of modes of transportation: ocean freight, LTL, truck freight, FTL, parcels, to everything in between, overnight, express freight to ground parcel. So we have a lot of experience, and we've seen a need for a device like this. We've tried many in the past for security, just for transparency in what we're shipping, what we're dealing with, because it's such high value we deal with. Is the small price we pay for this device just gives us so much transparency into our shipping, security, and everything else.
Cool. So let me ask you, you're telling us in volume how much you're shipping on a yearly basis. What type of shipments are you sending out? Are you sending like truckloads? Is this packages? What are you guys moving?
Yeah, so it varies every day. It could be LTL, a few pallets. We have air freight that's shipping over 50 pallets a day. Directly with the airlines. We have parcel shipping with the main carriers: DHL, FedEx, UPS, post office. We utilize all different kinds of carriers. We also have LTL, and we also deal with a lot of full truckloads.
Awesome.
So yeah, we've seen a lot of need in those.
And fair to say, for RocketDrop, you guys have been in business for a while. Tell me how many years you've been in business, and also, I assume you guys are a big employer in the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah, we've been in business over 15 years. I've been with the company over 12 years. So,
awesome.
Have seen a lot of different issues with shipments and issues with security, vulnerabilities, everything else. So I've seen a lot of it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, so tell me, how important is it for you to track and monitor these shipments that are going out?
So tracking, every carrier has their standard tracking. It only gives you so much information. We always had issues with dealing with these carriers, UPS, FedEx, calling on these shipments. Hey, why is this delayed? They have to call another station, figure out where it is, everything else. And it just took so much time out of the day. Trying to locate the shipment to tell our customers where our shipment is, give the information that they need, because it's high value products we're shipping to them, and they want to know exactly where it is, when they're going to get it.
Okay.
And we respect that. And with the tracking, it wasn't always accurate with the carriers. They have systematic scans that shows you one thing, but the actual package is somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So this gives that real transparency of live tracking. Where is my package? We have an answer. We don't have to rely on anybody else.
So let's talk a little bit about the challenges. So transparency and where my package is right now is important. You're sending it out to your customer. That's one piece. What other challenges did you have over time?
Yeah, so we've seen many shipments go missing. Lost shipments, possibly stolen shipments that carriers give you the runaround. Hey, yeah, it's here, when it's not actually there. Mm-hmm. They don't actually know exactly where it is because they're investigating it. Those investigations go on for weeks. This was a solution to cover ourselves and give us, the peace of mind that says oh, this is where it is. Mm-hmm. So we give that data to the carriers when they say, we're investigating it, we don't know where it is. We're able to say, hey, this is exactly where it is. You can narrow your investigation to here, save time, save money, and identify where it is.
Okay. So not only is it updates on where this is and that transparency for your customer, you're preventing loss if you ultimately can find this at any point in time. Have you ever had a theft?
Yes, just recently we've dealt with one of the carriers. We had a few packages going down to Miami, and mid-route things got diverted over in Atlanta, Georgia. We thought it was weird. Something was going on. It wasn't delivered when it was supposed to be delivered. We started investigating it. Carriers telling us, hey, this could be rerouted on a different truck. Mm-hmm. We thought otherwise. We started digging into it. We had the data that showed otherwise. Eventually, it started getting some traction on the investigation. Come to find out, trailer park was broken into, bunch of packages were stolen. We had the data of when that package was stolen from the trailer yard, where it went, the route it took throughout Atlanta, and the timestamps, every other information we were able to provide to the authorities. That it ended up like blowing into a bigger case, and we were able to provide that data to help them with the investigation.
That's awesome. So not only helps you, not only helps your end consumer know where it is, you're maybe able to mitigate it with insurance, and that's a whole separate conversation, but identifying where it is, potentially who took it, you're stopping major theft that's happening, and you're aiding law enforcement in the process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Awesome.
carriers were asking us for information of where the package was. And to me, that's huge.
Cool.
The carrier who has a package was asking us for information, data of where it was at any specific moment.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and what I'll just share from our side with PEEQ is that is an extremely valuable story for us just as a brand, because it proves what we are out here trying to accomplish, that real-time tracking is as valuable as we believe it is. And if someone's utilizing the software the way that we've designed it, you can find everything you need regarding the shipment or whatever asset you're tracking. And that's important to us at the core, right? That's our mission. So you being able to bring that to life, not that I want that to happen to anybody, but the fact that it happened to you and you were able to recover is amazing. And I'm happy about that. So, yeah, I guess there's two sides to this that I look at. One side is like on specific shipments, yeah, if I'm taking a palm and I'm putting it onto the pallet and then shipping that out, that for me is like, okay, I'm tracking the entire pallet along the way. Can you give me a little bit of an example on like how you are utilizing this in the warehouse? Like how does this implementation look for RocketDrop before things are even sent out? Because we know that that's a complex process, regardless if you're tracking or not. How do you ensure that it's smooth if you're adding another piece of security with a palm on each shipment?
Yeah, so each shipment that comes in, we do our normal pick pack process. But at the end, we have another process where we identify value of the shipment we're sending, and if it qualifies, then we're gonna put one of these devices in. We're gonna put a palm in, and before we put it in, we associate it with that tracking or that invoice number, so we know this invoice number has these devices in it. So this way, when we do our daily tracking, because we're constantly monitoring our shipments after we send them out, this way we go into our database that we have and we pull up that tracking information. So not only are we pulling up the carrier information will show one thing, we also show something else. If something doesn't line up, we're able to go to the carrier and say, hey, what's going on here? We actually have some data and tools to fight back.
Mm-hmm. Cool. One thing that I've been thinking about too, like a lot of business owners or managers that I will talk to, they don't track right now. It's not as though like they don't want to switch to PEEQ. It's that they don't track anything because they've never been hit with loss or theft. So like in your opinion, take out the major theft, maybe some of the major loss, like why is tracking so important to you? And like why do you think other businesses should implement this?
Yeah, for one reason is just customer service, having that customer service. They're gonna come to you for information that they can't get from the carrier. Anyone could track on, the carrier's website, see where it is, is that correct or not? When was the last time that was updated? You have timestamps. Is that a systematic scan? Is that an actual scan? You don't know that information. With this, it's an actual timestamp of when it was at that location. You get GPS coordinates. You can then use that to estimate when it's going to be there.
Yep.
So if it's, an overnight shipment and it's, 9 a.m. that day it was supposed to be there and it's still showing in Memphis, chances are you're not going to get that shipment that day. It gives you that value added of where is it, when will my customer get it?
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I guess one other question for you is just around like that daily operation within the warehouse. Do you have one person that manages this? Do you have multiple people who manage the process? Like, how does it look?
Yeah, so we have a couple guys that do it. We have a logistics team that they manage all the shipments. So they're constantly going in, checking the shipments, tracking information. They're the ones that handle the operations around making sure these go into the shipments beforehand and also making sure these track every day, making sure it lines up to what it's supposed to with the carrier website, the route it's taking, everything else.
Okay.
So we have a logistics team. a few guys that, rotate. If
Yep.
one's not available, somebody else fills in and, takes over.
Okay. So two things that we say to every customer is that the dashboard itself is easy to use and it's scalable. Asking you straight up, do you believe that those two things are true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very easy to use. Naming feature we utilize a lot is when we ship something, we're able to associate it with our shipment and quickly go in, enter in, the shipment ID, pull up exactly where that is.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just real quick search feature, as well as all the other features that we utilize. But that's probably the easiest use of the platform itself. It's just quickly pull up your shipment. Just plug in, drop it in, exactly where it is.
From a scalability perspective, like I shared before, you're our biggest customer. Can you share how many devices you guys have, or give me a roundabout number of how many you're using?
Yeah, we have about 1,000 devices in rotation. That's
Awesome.
from everything. Not only shipments, we've only spoken about shipments, but we use them within our warehouse, we use them within our trucks. Anything that moves or we want security and clarity on, we're attaching one of these with it.
Cool. That's awesome. I appreciate that. I guess, we've got features. I have a feature that I like on the product itself. Is there any feature on the Palm that you utilize most, or that you like, to implement to have visibility that you need?
Yeah, the geofence feature is probably the best.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
For what we use, the security of our warehouse, that we know if something is taken from our warehouse, we get an alert.
Cool.
If something is moved, we get an alert. That on top of the light sensor. If light hits it, a package is open mid-transit, a box we have in the warehouse is opened, we get immediate notification of when and where that was. So we're able to, react accordingly.
Yep.
And immediately.
Cool. I guess maybe a future or forward-looking question. I know where we plan to go, and some of the things, and speaking to business owners and managers on the features that they need in the future. Do you have any future plans to maybe use a Palm in a different way than you're using it now?
Yeah, we're actually making a big push to make everything more efficient in the warehouse, with our personnel, with our truck routes, everything else. So on top of security, that's kind of how we started everything, is with security, but we see so much added value and so much potential for this device that we want to increase efficiency in our push for increasing the warehouse, everything else. So we're going to utilize it in our trucks, optimize routes, make sure our drivers are going where they say they're going, and doing it in a timely fashion, not speeding, stuff like that. Warehouse, also personnel, who's working, what are they doing, where are they going, kind of tracking personnel.
Like seeing them within the warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of, next step of what we want to get to, is kind of seeing that efficiency and seeing the route optimization in the warehouse and outside the warehouse.
Cool. That's awesome. And even, I can say that some of the improvements that we've made on the software side, or some of the future ideas that we've had, have come a lot from the feedback that we've gotten from you and your team, and sharing like, hey, this is something that we'd love to see on the software. Well, we decided, hey, how big of a need is it? It's big enough. Let's implement it. And so, I appreciate some of those things, and that's something I share with a lot of customers as well, is from a customization perspective, if it's something that's valuable to you, it's probably valuable to other customers. So we'll seek to implement it, in the future, and create a better system over time.
Yeah,
so.
it's been awesome. The replay feature, I know there's been several tweaks to that to, get it to exactly how we need it, and it's been working great.
Cool.
And now it's, kind of customized to exactly what we need, and also to what other similar businesses will potentially probably need too.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming here and having this conversation with me. Final thoughts on PEEQ. Final thoughts on how PEEQ's improved RocketDrop over the time that you've had it implemented.
Yeah, honestly, we've tried many different types of devices, everything else. It just wasn't working out. It was either missing something, or we needed something different. This kind of fitted all the needs we had for all the potential use cases.
Cool.
I feel like the live tracking is only going to become more popular.
Yeah.
It's like the next wave, and I feel like every shipment, every warehouse, every shipping company, everyone's going to be using the live tracking. just because the carrier tracking, it's not always reliable and doesn't always show the gaps in time from one station to the next.
Yep.
To be able to have that, it's priceless for a small price too. I think it's well worth it.
Awesome. Cool. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.